Good day everyone, my name is Shanimi Mones, and for today's video, I will discuss to you about the International World Heritage Site about State Historical and Cultural Park and St. Merv. So here's the video about State Historical and Cultural Park and St. Merv. So for the brief summary of this site is the State Historical and Cultural Park and St. Merv is the oldest and the best preserved of the oasis cities along the Silk Road in Central Asia. Several cities have existed on this site with a history span of 4,000 years. A few monuments are still visible inside the historical park. Most of them are from the last 2 millennia. It is located in the territory of Mary of Turkmenistan. It is supposed that the ancient centers played an important role in the history of the East, connected with the unparalleled existence of cultural landscape and exceptional variety of cultures which existed within the Margab River oasis being in continually interactions and successive development. It is also reached its above during the Muslim epoch and became a capital of the Arabic Caliphate at the beginning of 9th century and as a capital of the Great Seljuk Empire at the 11th and 12th centuries. State Historical and Cultural Park and St. Merv contains of a series of adjacent walled cities like Kala, Dryer Kala, and the medieval Sultan Kala by Merv Al-Khajani, Al-Shashijan. Inside the park, it is the Museum of Sultan Sanjar that could be seen from different corners of the park. It is almost restored with the help of Turkish funds. There are also other walls of palace, fortresses left, which remind the prosperous of the ancient cities. For the situation analysis and scope, this focuses on a protection agreement which secures an availability of monuments and maintenance and condition of economic activities and new construction within boundaries of the buffer zone has been concluded between administration of the park and local authorities. Archaeological excavation within the park requires official permits from the Ministry of Culture. The overall management system for the property is adequate, involving both government administrative bodies and local communities, although plans for the sustainability of landscape that respect local farming and agricultural traditions need to be better developed. So for the statement of minor or critical concerns, the conservation and the management of the cities and their hinterlands also requires urgent attention. In 1987, the Turkmenistan Ministry of Culture made by the foresight decision to establish an archaeological park to protect the walled cities and the principal outlying monuments within the oasis. This has already done much to improve the basic condition of the cities by removing modern agriculture from within the walled areas and generally improving access to the monuments. However, there are daunting conservation issues facing the Turkmens. In 1999, Merv was declared a World Heritage Site And in 2000, it was placed by the International Organization World Monuments, watched on the list on the world's 100 most written site, and it remains on the list today. And it remains on that list today. For the areas of consideration, the staff of the archaeological park have started to tackle the situation with the programs of repair, together with temporary works such as buttresses to support the most vulnerable structures. But with a very small annual operating budget, there are limits to what can be achieved, especially given the scale of the problems. Turkmenistan has kindly made a grant to help the park establish a small interpretation center at its entrance. This will enable local people and international visitors to appreciate the scale and complexity of the site and the conservation problems that it now faces. The material already excavated is also being studied to provide the basis of new reference collection that will be valuable not just for future research at Merv, but to colleagues working in Iran, Afghanistan, and the rest of the Central Asia. It will also help us to develop plans for the long-term conservation and curation of material arising from the Merv project. For the SWOT analysis is strength. The present state of conservation is good. The property is maintained and preserved through regular and rigorous repair and conservation programs, one of the most outstanding archaeological achievements of the Seljuk period. For the weaknesses, ruins of massive earthen buildings retain the characteristic of original structure which did not undergo to reconstruction and alteration. Number 2, the archaeological sites have been relatively untouched, and so their authenticity is irreproachable. Number 3, lack of advanced technical skills and shortage of managerial skills and entrepreneurship. For the opportunities, the cities of Merv oases have exerted considerable influence over the culture of Central Asia and Iran for 4 millennia. Number 2, conservation policies for the property will need to consider guidelines that meet current conservation standards. Number 3, prevent potential impacts to the authenticity of the component parts of the property. For the threats, number 1, archaeological layers were not covered by the subsequent developments. Number 2, change of the landscape and influence of natural factors such as deflation. For the number 3, underground water levels rising and connected with it as a salinization of earthen construction. For the implications, Merv is a unique accelerating archaeological landscape that differs from cities such as Bukhara and Samarkand in that it has fewer standing buildings, although those it has are spectacular and unique, but the scale and complexity of inter-urban landscape are laid out before the visitor. It takes imagination, but Merv is a place to capture the imagination of anyone who sees it. Until you have visited it, it is hard to appreciate the scale of what was achieved in this oasis. Helping to research and conserve this extraordinary site and to develop sustainable tourism, enabling the visitor to explore the scale of the urban achievement and the histories of these once vibrant cities that lay on one of the most important cultural crossroads the world has seen will be a challenge. Alternative courses of action. The 1992 law of the protection of Turkmenistan historical and cultural monuments provided extra protection at the national level for the State Historical and Cultural Park at Merv, which was established by decree in 1987. All the park's elements are listed on the National Heritage List, and it belongs to the Republic of Turkmenistan. Any proposed action inside or outside of the limits of a national heritage location or a World Heritage property that could have a substantial impact on the heritage values is forbidden without the agreement of the appropriate government entity according to listing on the National Heritage List. For the decision they made, the management plan of the State Historical and Cultural Park at Merv, currently in place, considers a wide range of measures under planning and heritage legislation and policies of the Turkmenistan government. The management plan provides the policy framework for the conservation and management of the ancient Merv, and it is scheduled to be updated every 6 years. Regarding to the long-term management issues, the property requires balanced management of conservation activities and passing both traditional and modern conservation techniques from one generation to the next. Management of high pressure derived from tourism activities and urban growth also will be a long-term concern. Strategy formulation and implementation. The Office of the State Historical and Cultural Park is responsible for the preservation and conservation of the site and monuments within the park and of all standing monuments in the oasis. A three-stage implementation program, which is legal status, management, and conservation history, is put forward for the improvement of tourist facilities. In the first stage, this will be confined to improvement of the interpretation of reception provisions. The second stage concerns upgrading of hotel facilities and the construction of visitor and study centers, restaurants, and office at Merv, and the major staff and guide training program. The third stage, dependent upon a substantial increase in the visitors' numbers and tourist revenue, considers the possibility of the creation of a hotel complex at Merv itself. For the outcomes, there has been a real sense of common goals and shared vision developed with the Ministry of Culture, the ANSAD Merv Archaeological Park, and the international team over the past 5 years. Shared knowledge, including development common terminologies, has greatly improved the exchange of information and ideas. It has also developed a stronger knowledge base, which is crucial for informing action at the site. Capacity building and sustainable approach to conservation have also progressed, with a major training course in June 2005, supported by the J.M. Kaplan Fund and the World Monuments Fund, which brought staff from the state archaeological parks from all over Turkmenistan to work together at Merv, developing skills in digital photography, archaeological recording, documentation, and management planning. Above all, two facets of their work are central to the project. The first is capacity building, developing the skills within the Turkmen teams responsible for the site to face the challenges of conservation, research, documentation, and the daily management. Ultimately, foreign teams will come and go, but the Turkmen people will continue to manage and research their cultural heritage, and they need to have the tools, skills, and resources to achieve this. To this end, training courses such as the organization in June 2005 are vital to developing future approaches. The second key area is education. Young Turkmen people are the future of this country, and increasing the depth of their understanding of the archaeological resources and the ways in which they value it is vital for the future of cultural heritage in Turkmenistan. So that's all, and thank you.